The NFL is America's most popular sports league, and with that achievement, nearly every one of its teams, whether good or bad, are identifiable. The heavy lifting of that identifiability sits on a team's logo. The Los Angeles Rams' decision to update their logo in 2020 showed the sports world how not to evolve a team's logo, and DC's soon-to-be-revealed logo may set a precedent for logo evolutions as we progress into the 21st century. But today's not about those teams. Today, let's kick off with some of the best NFL logo evolutions. We're starting with the most necessary logo evolution in the entire league. Since the turn of the century, the Seattle Seahawks have consistently built themselves a legacy of being one of the NFC's fiercest teams. But for a 25-year time span, the symbol of this Northwestern opponent was anything but fierce. From 1976 through 2001, this strange bird, showing nothing aggressive but severe eye strain, represented the Seahawks. Even if this logo was at one point thought of as a good design, no one could imagine the team bearing such an embarrassing logo today. The Seahawks, who in 2002 had a new stadium and were moved out of the AFC and into the NFC, found it was a perfect time to evolve the logo. It's surprising how such a simplistic evolution created one of the most timeless logos in the entire league. The updated logo takes many cues from its predecessor, but then adds personality that fits the aggressiveness of the NFL. And unlike its predecessor, this logo has been synonymous with a team that made 3 Super Bowl appearances. The undisputed juggernaut of the league spanning the first 2 decades of the 21st century, New England's Patriots have been synonymous with success. While the star of the Dallas Cowboys may bring nostalgic visions of a once mighty team, the Patriots' iconic logo has come to symbolize a mighty team with a winning heritage. The Patriots have only 3 major logo changes in their 60-year heritage, each one of them an evolution of its predecessor. The through line in all? The tri-corner hat. Originally, the 1960 Boston Patriots started exclusively with a blue tri-corner hat once worn by Minutemen, whom were critical during the American Revolution. This symbol lasted 1 year and expanded from solely a hat to a football-playing Patriot. Pat the Patriot, a Revolutionary Minuteman designed from head to toe, was introduced in 1961 and stayed around for 3 decades. 2 revisions were made to Pat, the first giving the character a human skin tone, as well as adjusting his face to make it seem that he wasn't going through testicular torsion. That revision lasted for 16 years. The second revision kept the better face expression from its predecessor, but returned the blank skin color. After sticking with the character for 3 decades, the Foxborough-based Patriots looked to the modern age. Pat was fine for his time, but sharper, cleaner, and aggressive logos were rising throughout the league, a turning point in design. The 1993 logo is about as good a design could get in what it represents. One of the best color choices was in the face. Much in the color tone of a historic statue or sculpture, the face seems to symbolize American Revolutionary Patriots brilliantly. The blue tricorner hat that then transitions to red, tapered in a flag-like motion, as well as the included star, stands as another great American symbol. To me, the 1993 Patriots logo is not only a great sports logo, but a great American symbol, one that could easily represent a government agency or state flag if it clearly wasn't for the NFL. The Patriots would keep the design, but cosmetically darkened the blue in 2000. Since that year, the Patriots have risen to the Super Bowl 9 times, winning 6. The Patriots logo has evolved not only to become a stronger representation of the team, but an inadvertently impressive American symbol. Nearly 90 years old, the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the most historic teams in the NFL, and much like their longtime commitment to remain in their birthplace for almost a century, the insignia that's represented the team has stayed consistent. The original eagle was inspired by the then recently founded U.S. National Recovery Administration, which used a blue eagle as its symbol. The eagle, which represented the team, quickly turned from blue to green and temporarily black when the Eagles and Steelers merged in 1943 due to World War II's pull on the U.S. male population. Through the years, the eagle carrying the football through its many angular and art directions remained. From the mid-70s through the mid-80s, a football helmet bearing only the eagle's wings became the team's symbol, but its successor would be another eagle with a football in its talons. Unlike the Seahawks, there was nothing necessarily wrong with the eagle's iconic symbol for its time. However, sharper and simpler NFL logos were all the rage moving into the 21st century. The key was evolving a new logo to fit those modern criteria. Introduced in 1996, the current eagle simplifies and sharpens, exclusively focusing on the bird's head. It darkens the green the team had worn for decades and adds black outlines to emphasize the aggressiveness of the new look. Clearly, it's a look that represented the team well, as the modern Eagles logo is the longest standing logo in the team's long history. Google defines a Bronco as a half-tamed horse, and nothing could be more defining of the team in its first 2 decades. Through the 1960s, the team had 9 losing seasons and went 7-7 in another. Much like the logo of its time, the team wasn't taken seriously. Both the original and 1962 revised logos featured a football player trying to control his horse. Just in the same way, the teams of the 60s couldn't control their fate. The 1970s saw the merge of the AFL and NFL, creating a single league. Simultaneously, the Broncos went through the decade with a freshly evolved logo to fit an evolving team. The teams of the early to mid-70s showed more promise than the preceding decade, and the final 70s seasons went high, going but not winning Super Bowl 12 and reaching the playoffs in 1978 and 79. The 80s brought consistency, with the Broncos going to the playoffs 5 times and in juggernaut form rising to the Super Bowl 3 times, unfortunately losing all 3 in either blowout or multi-possession scores. For Broncos fans, the 90s was an era of unparalleled highs. One of the crucial keys to this was Mike Shanahan, who arrived in '95 and gave the team much success. In 1997, the 27-year-old Broncos symbol was aged and didn't cut it in an era of simplistic, clean, and aggressive designs. The solution? The franchise gave redesign reins to shoe brand Nike. The result? A clean, sharp, and forward-thinking design that not only stands the test of time, but represents the Broncos and the American West brilliantly. Well, this was only 4, but these to me are some of the best NFL logo evolutions. But what about you guys? What do you think are the teams that have evolved their logos for the better? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to leave a like if you want another logo evolution video where I'll dive into other cool logo evolutions.